Okay, hi everybody, it's me, Bonkai922. So we're at the end of the summer season. I pretty much am done. There is nothing left except this on Sundays. Gachikuta. This episode. Oh! Gender gender equality. That should be like I'm not gonna say that. I'll probably call the episode titled what the episode title is for this review. But anyway, Gachikuta episode what was this? I forgot what episode it was. Silly me. 12. Something like a curse. Now, there's a lot to unpack here. Because we're focusing on them in the tower with Amo and a scene between the secretary, I forgot her name, of course, a scene between Corvus, and the secretaries whose name I don't remember. Simu, or Greer. So Greer, I should talk about this first. Greer and Corvus are talking. And she's looking at Rudo's picture. Now, he asks her, what did you see in Rudo? That's what his question is to her. And, like, this happens towards the end, like, middle-ish, almost end of the episode, where we have Rudo go through this what the hell thing. He basically beats this. Let me go on to first explaining what she says to him, to Corvus. And she says that it's not just his gloves. There's something inside of him. Something like a curse. Now, in the episode, they boil this down to, like, basically Rudo has some kind of darkness inside of him, a rage. What should be expected, knowing how when he uses his giver powers, his eyes turn red. So there's something inside of him, according to Greer, the secretary, that could destroy the world. Now, I don't know how to grasp that, because she says it's something like a curse. So, I personally think it's a way of saying, yeah, it's a curse, and he could destroy the world, but it might be for a bigger cause here. It might be for something more along the lines of, he won't destroy the world, he'll balance it out. But regardless, let's talk about what actually happened in the episode, except for just one scene. So, they're still in the head, Rudo, Reaper, and the big guy, and that other supporter. They'll all get mind wiped by Amo. Give her credit as due, but this guy, yeah, I think you went a little too far. Tamsy went a little too far. I like his weapon, his instrument, though. It's more of that thing where it's basically rope, and he ties them up, and he winds it up, and he just... And they want out to help her. And she's like, she's crying, No offense to Amo, but, dude, lady, listen, you gotta put on some clothes. Okay, you gotta put on some clothes. Because you're showing a little bit too much skin here. Bang on how old she is. But yeah, he basically uses his weapon, one out of it when he winds it up, and it gets shot down, and everyone's like in tatters, but they had a spell put onto them from the previous episode when they were in Canvas Town. So, they're fine. And what ends on happening, though, after this initiative, and then she's like, she's like laughing maniacally, like, And then here's Engine. He wakes up because he had the spell on him too. He grabs the boot. So, yeah, she basically has the same kind of thing as Rudo. Now, after this all happens, and they're all back up topside, and you know, he gives her boot back when she wants it. She complains, and then and she says how we all like to just like and ugly inside, all this other crap. And Rudo shows up in front of her, and he beats the shit out of her, punching her in the face. See, this moment is so jarring to me because I've seen a lot of anime. The only other time I can think of a more crazy beatdown, you have to go back to the 90s with, like, I don't know, Yu Hakusho? Yusuke? But that was a different scenario because that wasn't really a woman. This is, and I think I've seen a few animes down the line past that this has happened to, but to do it in this fashion while the secretary is telling Corvus what Rudo is, aligns. Now, when this all is said and done, they heal Amo, and Engine has a talk with Rudo, and Rudo basically explains to him that he had to keep, in the sphere, he had to keep a restraint on his emotions and everything between, and then just this run time here, it seemed like they erupted again, which is, I guess, correlating with this whole curse thing. But regardless, Engine tells him, is where you're already on the bottom, the only way to go is up. That's basically what he tells him. And the episode ends with Amo talking to the supporter girl and saying how, her mama introduced her to some guy, and that guy gave her these boots, and she mentions an angel that went from the sphere to the ground. So that's basically where we left off in that episode. Now, from my understanding, this confrontation doesn't mean anything. It doesn't, Amo isn't really a villain. Let's be perfectly honest here. She's not really a villain. She's just, the best way to look at it is she's misunderstood. Okay? And if we're being barely honest here, the reason this all transpired into what it was that Engine didn't really go about it in a good way. But regardless, from my understanding, to a good extent, I believe Amo, she becomes friends with Rudo and so on and so forth. But that's what we basically found out in this episode. I'm giving this a 9 out of 10. Not just because of the action, but because what we found out. Found out about Rudo, found out about Amo, about the sphere, about the ground, about all that stuff. So, it's going to be interesting to see as we go along, where does this lead up to? And you see, the thing is, knowing he has this curse inside of him makes another part to wonder, maybe that's why his hands are black. But I could just be grasping straws on that. But overall, like I said, 9 out of 10 for this one. It was really good, really done very well. I look forward to next week. I don't have like a gamut of what I'm going to do, but I do know for the next coming season, I am just going to do anime series reviews. And I'm probably going to do first impressions. I have one on the bill for a first impression, but I don't know. Well, I gotta wait and see when the rest come out in the fall. This is Bonkai 922. I'll catch you guys later.